Yeah. And what kind of students you are looking for from China?
Great question. And so at baseline, the same kind of students we're looking for from anywhere, with the sort of qualifying criteria being ability to manage a rigorous curriculum successfully. So we're looking for evidence of strong past performance in grades, exactly.
Yeah.
Strong testing to suggest ability to handle challenging courses ahead of them. Strong comments from teachers, all those sorts of things that suggest academic readiness. The second component, sort of qualifying, is qualities of character, and I would divide them into two categories. One, the qualities that suggest sort of success academically, diligence, perseverance, resilience, those kinds of things that are going to lead somebody to be a successful, industrious member of the community. And then the other side would be qualities of character, friendly, helpful, courteous, all those kinds of things that makes for a nice student to have as part of the campus community. So we will look at those two sorts of things, those categories, the kind of qualities of character and academic ability as qualifiers for consideration. And then beyond that, it comes down to interesting, special talent, a whole variety of things that might come under that category. But for example, it might be, a student's talent playing an instrument. It might be a student's talent playing a sport.
Yeah.
It might be that a student grew up in an area that we don't have any representation from. So an interesting geographic background, interesting cultural background. The other thing that we are looking at, and this is kind of hard to read sometimes, but somebody who's going to be an active member of the community. It's all well and good to have somebody who's going to be very bright and successful, but ultimately we'd like this to be a community where everybody is contributing to the learning of everyone else. And so if somebody is just going to sit in the classroom and absorb information and get good grades on tests, that's good, but that doesn't benefit everybody else. And so somebody who's sitting in class saying, wait a minute, last week you said that, and this, how can that be? This is different from, I don't believe what you're saying right now. Some challenging ideas, adding things to conversations. And so the more that there's evidence of kind of interesting thought, forceful contribution, exactly correct. So some kind of mix of all of those things is what we're looking for. I think sometimes it's hard for international students to recognize that it is an imprecise science. In some countries, they're accustomed to if you're among the top 100 test scorers, then you go. Last year, there were, I think, about 130 or more students with 99th percentile testing on SSAT who didn't get in here.
Oh, 130,
With
wow.
99th percentile testing who were not admitted.
Wow.
Now, many of them got waiting lists and stuff, but basically, those good test scores are important. They get you considered, but they don't guarantee your admission.
Yes.
We would rather have somebody whose test scores were maybe a little lower than that, but they are a very talented soccer player, or they did some community service in Botswana. Something interesting, contributing, those sorts of things. So.
Yeah. There is a rumor in China spreading widely, saying that the top United States high schools, very good high schools, would admit students on the condition of the donation, family donation. I would like you to clarify.
I think it is certainly true that the U.S. schools, as historically and traditionally, have benefited from families who contribute beyond tuition.
Yeah.
If you look at this campus, the buildings that surround us were paid for by generous donors, usually parents or alumni. And so that's been a pattern over the years. As to any sort of suggestion that that is required to get in, of course not. There is a girl in the junior senior class from China who's on full scholarship, plus transportation. So a really, really talented individual. It is not necessary that one, certainly, if they come and they're able to contribute to annual campaigns, that's appreciated. But there's no sort of expectation in advance.
Right.
And in fact, if parents try to, as part of the interview, I've had parents say, we're ready to, that's not, if your child is here next fall and you want to talk to the development office, that's fine. But not as part of the admission process, of course.
Right. It's like a bribe.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
If I give you money, you admit my kids.
Exactly. And, that obviously would be out of bounds. And so nobody is going to do, I can't think of any prep school that would be in the business of asking for money in advance of a decision.
Right. If the student is a very good student, excellent, they will be admitted.
Right.
But if the parents try to do something like that, it's not good to.
I would agree. I mean,
not helpful.
I can't speak for every school, obviously, but from our perspective, if somebody comes into the office and says, "By the way, I'd be interested in making a generous donation," that's going to be a negative, just because that's not how things operate.
Right.
There may be some schools where, but I can't speak for other schools. But
if the students has been admitted and been the students in the school, the parents could donate whatever they would like.
Absolutely.
Right.
Once a student is a member of this community, if the parents say, we're so pleased with what's happening for our child, is there some way, we wouldn't do that here, but they might talk to the fundraisers on campus and talk about ways that, certainly that happens, and that happens for families from all over the place.
Yes. All right, that's the main questions